question is, and again, without naming names, I'm not looking for names of any deputies here, but have any deputies, any department employees been disciplined for participating in or joining or soliciting other deputies to participate in a deputy clique? Have there been any deputies disciplined for essentially participating in deputy cliques?
Well, as you're familiar with, the policy was introduced and it was in place in February. It was vetted. It took a while to get there, but it became effective in February. So the investigations that we have currently moved from that point forward, from February forward, that policy is in effect. And we are doing it. The investigations that we have ongoing, I can't go into any specific detail, but the policy is being enforced, to answer your question. And that's very important.
Yeah, I know it is important, and it's important. I think you're saying that, first of all, that at least from February forward, and I agree with you, I don't think this is retroactive, but February of this year forward, that it would violate your policy, the 050.83, it would violate policy for a deputy to continue to participate or join in or solicit others to join in a deputy clique. Am I correct? That would violate this policy.
It has to be linked to misconduct, however, because if it's just, say a group, let's say a fictitious group, they decide to get a tattoo of a Tweety bird on their shoulder, and they're the Tweety birds. And you have a group of people with a Tweety bird. Just in that in of itself, we cannot take action on it because it has to be tied to some type of misconduct that harms somebody. The grouping of itself, it does not going to pass constitutional muster on the First Amendment grounds. However, once we get into misconduct, that gives us that window of opportunity to then go there. But we have to cross that bridge.
Let me say I'm going to respectfully disagree that there's a constitutional right by a deputy sheriff to participate in a deputy clique. I mean, but that's a legal issue. Let's put it aside for a moment. What I want to clarify is, and I have your policy in front of me, it says that department personnel shall not participate or join in any group. And it goes on to say, herein referred to as deputy cliques, which often include an associated symbol and or tattoo. This policy, it seems to me, is pretty straightforward. It doesn't require additional misconduct. If a deputy sheriff now today solicits another deputy to join a clique, the executioners, the banditos, you name the clique, that seems to violate your policy without any further misconduct. But you're telling me that that does not violate your policy. So I just want to be clear. If somebody right now, a deputy, is soliciting another person to join a deputy clique that's associated with an identifiable tattoo, let's say, are you telling me that that does not violate 050.83, or does it violate it? I would hope it does, because I've read it. It seems like the policy.
That calls for a legal opinion, and I'm going to defer to Chief Burson on that. However, from my own perspective, and again, I'm not a lawyer. In fact, most of you are the ones who are the lawyers. We have to get to that point, though. I can't start blanket. How do we get to that point where person A convinced person B to join a group? How do we get to that point? And that is very important now, because I agree with you that at face value, when we're doing an investigation regarding misconduct and it's discovered pursuant to the investigation that A, B, and C joined this group, okay, now we have grounds and that we can apply the policy. However, how do you get to that point is a very important.
I agree. It's very important. And how you get to that point is called an investigation. But so let me go back to my question, because I just want to see if I can get a clear answer. And that is, without naming any names, has any department employee been disciplined for joining or soliciting a deputy clique since your policy went into effect in February of this year?
I can say that not yet. However, I'll leave the details of that with the chief person.
All right. So, to your knowledge, no one has been disciplined yet. Let me ask you something different. And again, without naming names, But has any deputy sheriff been, well, let me put it this way, without naming names, have any investigations been opened by the Internal Affairs Bureau or any other unit of the Sheriff's Department to investigate whether, since the policy went in effect, a deputy has joined or solicited another deputy to join a deputy clique?
I'm going to have Chief. I'm going to have Chief Burson answer that question because he has more detail than I do on that.
Before we get to hearing from Chief Burson, I